if you are in sales or you're selling, we're all in sales in one way or another. You should
Right.
have a daily process. You should block out 30 minutes a day to do certain individual tasks. If you're only waiting on automation, you're not building relationships and you're not closing larger deals.
Right.
You have to put a little work into that.
So, welcome back to Behind the Reel. Today's guest is Troy Hipolito, founder of the Troy Agency and creator of the SaaS tool Scoop. He has built agencies, launched products with zero ad spend, and shares the real stuff most people won't, like learning how to sell as a creative. If you're growing your business without wanting to lose your mind, this one's for you. Troy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I do appreciate it.
It's a pleasure having you here. Can you maybe give us a brief introduction on who you are and why you got into the creative world?
Yeah. So I've been doing this for a while. And years ago, we've had a more of a gamification company. So I built products and projects for Fortune 500 companies down to the startups, a few thousand projects underneath my belt, websites, apps, games, specialty systems and things like that. And a number of years ago, we were doing pretty well. And we got some interesting work from the agencies, but it all kind of changed and we had to change with it. The agencies no longer worked with us. They blocked us. We were doing particular type of work that they couldn't. And I was from Atlanta, Georgia, and Georgia had big tax breaks. So what happened is the agencies get the work from the Fortune companies, and the Fortune companies were cannibalizing the teams to bring them in-house because they didn't want to work with them anymore. That just meant that they blocked us from any kind of work. So the agencies were fighting over the same pennies. So we had to find a way around that to get business and our IT projects and all that sort of stuff. And we discovered LinkedIn. And we actually developed a way to slow date on LinkedIn. So the way you slow date in real life is very similar how you slow date with businesses. And so we had to get to know them. They had to get to like us and trust us over time. We had to provide value. And so nowadays, it worked so well for us, we create systems for other people. And so now people hire us to build out their sales systems. LinkedIn, events, driving business right off of events. Email is a huge part. LinkedIn outreach is, and in content creation as well. And of course, there's a lot of other systems, but using those systems together to provide value to other people is the key to actually building relationships and driving business. And so a lot of the B2B individuals, coaches, consultants, if they have a high value offer, the problem they run across is that people don't know them. They don't like them. They don't trust them. I don't know if they don't like them, but they definitely don't know them and they don't trust them. And so you have to create a system to gain their trust. And then we have a 3-tier system that you provide free value, a low cost, and then a high cost. And it worked really well. And we said, you know what? We're getting clients in, but we're limited because we're doing work and we're paying out. We're getting paid based on our hourly work. And so that's very limited. And so we can only take a few clients on a month. So we tend to work with them, develop systems, create the strategies, train their people. If they don't have people, we can provide them with people, a VA or a closer, and hook them up and have them take over the system. That way their costs are really low. But we're thinking, how can we create another revenue stream? And you mentioned Scoop, it's SKOOP, and the website is scoopapp.com, SKOOPapp.com. And we created that product to solve a problem. And Marcus, one of the biggest problems that we find is that the direct messages on LinkedIn and content doesn't really convert well. And we're able to create a tool that allow you to convert a lot better. And so if you can create an environment where people know that you took time to engage with them through personalized video and you're talking about them, we found out that you convert a lot better. And so they have automation and they have AI and they combine those things. But people forget that people buy stuff from people. And we wanted to create that personal connection. So with Scoop, that application, you're able to increase the vetted booking rate. So let's say I just connected with you on LinkedIn and I want to do business with you, right? You, on LinkedIn, it's a very bad etiquette to say, "Hey, Marcus, I'm awesome. Buy my stuff." No, no one
Yeah,
really.
everybody does
No,
that.
yeah, you're gonna like get shut down. LinkedIn doesn't like it. So
Mm,
LinkedIn is a networking platform, and so instead of selling, you want to create an environment for them to buy. And it's a totally different way of looking at it. And so if you have some automation to connect with someone, most people do. It's against the TOS rules, the terms of service. Oh, it's my daughter, by the way. She's out of school.
nice.
It's against the term of services for LinkedIn to have like automated systems, although they have their own automated systems, which is kind of
Right.
funny. But a lot of people do it because they're a little lazy. They don't really want to engage. Well, people want to work with people they know, like, and trust. So they want to engage with people that spend time to build an actual relationship. So if they end up trusting you, is when they'll actually do business with you if they need what you have. And so that is kind of the system behind it in order to make sense of converting. And we found out, for example, for Scoop, if you send a single thank you message for connecting, so I connect it with you, and a few days later I send a thank you note. Well, there's a chance to convert that note into a vetted booked meeting and have them pre-vet themselves. And before I was getting about a 3% conversion rate, and using a particular method, what we call a sandwich, a little bit of text, a short video, 30 seconds, 60 seconds long, and title the video with the person's name. That's the sandwich. If you're able to develop it right, you can increase that 3% to about 21% to a vetted book
Wow.
meeting. So what if you only needed one deal a month?
Mm,
Well, it would be a really big
a
deal to
huge
personalize or
boost.
hyper personalize the interaction, and of course, there's all sorts of things you can use with Scoop. It creates content. It has AI in there that scans your profile, and what it does, it runs a disc on it. Disc is a personalities test for traits.
Mm,
It understands your style of writing, your thinking patterns, and even scans your past post. So when you create new posts, it pulls the knowledge base
mm,
partially from your content and it sounds like you. So on LinkedIn, there are two areas to make money. There are the DMs with the direct messages that go on LinkedIn, and there's the content. No one knows how to do those things right, you know. And so the tool is specifically designed for those two areas. And then we expanded it to like Gmail, Microsoft 365, Outlook, anything with a Chrome browser, other social media platforms, even Reddit, Instagram, and X as well. So we have a lot of platforms it works on. It works almost anywhere. And it works with CRMs, anything that you can name. But the concept's simple. Just be human. For
mm,
example, if someone connects with me, I only put 2 or 3 lines of text. The very first line is thanks them for connecting, and I really appreciate. And the second and third line is, oh, I notice you're doing A, B, and C. So you're looking at your profile as you're doing the video while you're on your browser. So you can just do this in real time.
mm,
And you create a 30-second video, and when you say that, you literally say on the video, hey Marcus, thank you for connecting. I see you have an awesome podcast. I'd love to know more information about that. And you guys are doing A, B, and C.
mm,
Not sure how I can help you, but you know what, Marcus? I do have a good network. So I'll tell you what, if you have time, and only if you have time, take a quick look at my profile. And if you see anything there worth talking about, feel free to send me your booking link and I'll schedule some time on your link. I'm always open for a conversation. Thanks a
That's it.
lot and have an awesome day. And you notice that I'm not selling you anything.
Right.
I had one ask.
Right.
And I do have a good, if I tell them I have a great network, I have a reason for them to take a look at the profile. But my ask is only to take a look at my LinkedIn profile.
Right. You're
And
making
it's
it
not a big ask.
as low
We just
friction as
connected.
possible. Right.
Yeah, less friction, and also the ask is equal to the current relationship. So you're not
That's important.
asking something out of bounds. They see the video, they say, "Oh, yeah, this is pretty cool. He put a quick little video together for me. Oh, he actually looked up my profile because he's talking about me. He's calling me by name. Let me take a look at his profile. Of course, you have to have a good profile. If your
For
profile's
sure.
no one wants to talk to you, but you have to have those ducks in a row. And if he sends you his booking link, he has decided to have a meeting with you for a reason, and he's pre-vetted on his side. So I put the ball in his court when I asked him for his booking link. Now, when he sees the video, my booking link's right there next to it. So if he doesn't have one, he'll naturally just click on mine. And so that one thing, that one trick alone has converted. And people say, well, I got Loom, or I got this, or I got another video application. But Scoop is designed to move from person to person. So when you're doing sales, you have a daily process. And you may want to say, oh, there's 10 people who connected with me today. I want to hit these 6 people. And then I'll let the automation or whatever systems you have behind it to run it behind it. And I'm only interested in those 6 people. I want to increase my percentage rate of converting on those individuals. Of course, you can use it for anything. There's reply on any kind of DM or anything like that, or even add a video and a comment on a post. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. But the thing is, I want to get in and I want to get out as fast as possible. So Scoop stores messages for you. So 80% of your conversations are already predetermined. I don't know if people know that or not. So 80% of those messages are predetermined, like a welcome message. You click a button and it drops it right in there, and you make the changes. So everything is unique. Everything is novel because people love to see video versus a long string of text. I mean, you ever see those long messages on LinkedIn and you don't know the person? They send you a
Yeah.
novel. You don't
Yeah,
read
for sure.
that. You're like, I don't read
Nobody.
novels. What is he sending this? And you just kind of move on. So people scan. So anything beyond like 3 or 4 lines, they won't look at. So
Yeah.
keep it down to 2 or 3 lines. They understand what it is. They see a unique video. It looks a little raw on purpose, so it looks like a human, and they see you. And they get to know you really quickly if you're the type of person they want to talk to. And so
Interesting.
that is the essence of that. Of course, there's the CRM component in there, and there's a content creation, the brand new content creation we just did on that works really, really well. But at the
Nice.
end of the day, high value deals are done through relationships, and this is a relationship tool.
100%. It shows, the many use cases how Scoop can be used. And it's pretty much summarized. It sounds to me that it's all about the human touch. It's about making it, lowest friction possible and offering true value, right? That's
Yeah, and
ultimately what it does.
it's actually about doing a little bit of work yourself, but not being too overbearing or very
I see.
costly on your time.
Right.
So if you are in sales or you're selling, we're all in sales in one way or another. You should
Right.
have a daily process. You should block out 30 minutes a day to do certain individual tasks. If you're only waiting on automation, you're not building relationships and you're not closing larger deals.
Right.
You have to put a little work into that.
With that being said, then I presume Scoop, has helped so many people close deals. How is it that you actually go then about finding new clients for your tool?
Yeah, so we just launched it. We have a couple of resellers. We have users. All I did was use my LinkedIn profile. We picked up about 500 users so far. We want to pick up about 10,000 users, but we have to work with other distributors or people that have access to people that have licenses. So volume is what we need on the Scoop side. But right now it's a little hand-to-hand combat, meeting new people. But on podcasts like this, or posting something on my LinkedIn, I have about 30-something thousand on my LinkedIn. So I have a pretty decent audience. It's not ideal. It's what we need to do now, you know? So.
I
Yeah,
see.
but how we do it, I'm sorry I didn't answer your question. We have the same systems we build for clients, these multi-channel systems that go out for Scoop as well, and mention Scoop. So we have systems that send out on LinkedIn for outreach. We have LinkedIn Live events and systems that drive users to those events. We have conversations, we have group meetings, and all that stuff within the systems we built. We actually have a program called the Plus program, and the total program right now is 12K, and which is really cheap, because if someone's paying $2, $3, or $4 or $5,000 a month, they they have to pay every month. So we develop all the systems and then the license out for an entire year, and it's called the Plus program, a multi-channel Plus program. And when we do that, we create a system from the value structure, how to present their deal, what media to push out on. Do you have multiple social media channels? How do you create content that's engaging? How do you create a system around driving business just on content? I'll give you an example for LinkedIn Live event. We'll set up a LinkedIn Live. We always get between 200 and maybe 1,000 people register in a month, right? That's through systems. That's through, people liking who you are. That's through partnerships or whatever, right? And we systematize that. And out of, say, 300 people, we may only get 60 people that view it live. But since it's a LinkedIn Live, it goes on multiple channels, and that number ends up going to about 400 people who watch it afterwards, to replay. During the live event, we may only get maybe, say, 2 booked meetings, because they know it's a 12K program. So they may get 2 booked meetings, but we move all the emails over to our email blast. I'm just giving you an example. And with an email blast, we have 5 emails to go after that. We see that, there's 37 people interested. And out of 37 people, because they clicked it, they didn't finish the booking link. So we end up getting 7 meetings out of it. So 2 from the live event, and majority of those meetings came from the email, believe it or not. So email is definitely not dead if done right. It'll be the backbone of your business. Out of those 7 meetings, we closed 3 deals. So in a month, we're pulling about 30K or whatever that ends up being. And so creating a LinkedIn Live event with these other systems drives businesses. So the same systems we use for ourselves is what we use for our clients.
In that multi-channel outreach, which channel or process tends to give you the most predictable growth?
Well, there's immediate growth, and then there's growth that happens over time. And they support each other. So say you have a 3-tier value structure, right? What do I offer, and how can I get people within my ecosystem? So 3 tiers mean tier 1 is free. Your podcast is free. My LinkedIn Live is free. My content is free. One-on-one 20-minute meetings are free to solve a particular problem. That's my free tier. My low cost tier is actually Scoop. Everyone should have a low cost, because not every person is going to buy the high item. And so it's $47. I think I'll give you a discount code with 75% off. I'll end up calling like $10 or something like that. So the users are free to use that as long as the coupon's good, because it's going away pretty quick. I put it the other day, and there's six people got a hold of the coupon. I'm like, I don't know how that happened.
So guys,
and
you better be quick.
I didn't
Look at the
display it
description.
anywhere. Yeah, someone told someone, but the coupon would be good until it's over. But you have a low cost to bring them inside your ecosystem, because if someone gives you a single dollar, they like you a lot better than not giving you anything. Think about that.
Mm,
So you just bring them in your ecosystem, then they're more aware of what you're doing. They want to move forward. And then my high cost is about 12 grand, and 12 grand and up. And sometimes they just want a component of that. They don't need to get the whole system. So if you're doing content, content is a slow burn where it takes about several months to people to trust you. But when you
mm,
have an event, it's instant. However, if they see your content over a course of time, they'll end up going to your event. So you have to think about that. You end up getting people that are more qualified to the event because of the content. LinkedIn Live events, you can convert quite quickly, but you need the structure and the systems behind it.
interesting.
Another thing too is content you can drive business directly because if I have my systems on and part of my system, it's not all, when I say system, I just mean structure.
Mm,
Sometimes it's a machine and sometimes it's a human, that sort of thing. But one of the systems we have when we need to ramp up meetings is on the content, we'll engage with our top 40, at least 40 people before we post. That will shoot the
mm,
LinkedIn algorithm to get more people to view it. And the people that are engaging, I already know who the buyers are. And I can tell who
interesting.
the buyers are. I can automate a system to, if I wanted to reach out to all the people who liked it and saying, hey, thanks for liking the post. Is this, if it's worth a conversation, book some time, I can go to the comments and I can pull that out and individually DM those individuals to engage in business. So there's business opportunity everywhere.
Mm,
But if I had to put my money on one, the events, and if you
the
create them
events. Interesting.
correctly, yeah. Let's say people say, "Well, I never make any money on events. I hate selling on events." Right? Well, don't sell. Create a buying environment. Create an environment where if you can have the audience envision transformation, that is the key. So if they can see themselves making that transformation to point A to point B, and you can solve that, that's when it clicks, And my usual CTA, my call to action, is just a booking link, And then of course I have emails before, I have emails after I scrape the data, and then once you're scraping data, say you have 300 people per event, right? Well, that's 300 people more every single month.
Right.
And so I add people from that and my book meetings. So if someone
Mm,
schedules a meeting with me, they get added to my email list. And so that way you have a fresh set of people coming in all the time, and you use a simple email blast software that that you use that will kind of remove the people who don't open the emails. You keep the list clean. So it's not about having a huge list. I have 30,000 people, but I think my email blast list that's opt in is only about 4,000 people. And that's plenty. I get about between right now a 40% to 70% open rate on the emails. And
good.
then I have a click through rate of 1 to 3%, depending on what needs to happen. And so
Interesting.
by providing, content on a regular basis from your email blast, you pull people from the LinkedIn Live event and it refreshes. And
Mm,
then most of the buyers come from your email, and people
mm,
don't realize that, because they
interesting.
saw the event, they're hearing about the event, and it's repetition, and it's something that they need. Everyone needs business, so they need to figure a way to get business, and they're either going to pay me, do it themselves, or figure some in between solution.
Interesting. When you say, email tends to still be one of a safe way kind of to tap into potential buyers, do you even use systems like cold outreach methods through email at this point still? Or
Yeah, you got to be real careful with cold outreach. I'm not a cold outreach expert. I think that there's certain ways to do it well. I don't do it well. I don't do cold outreach because I know that there is an ROI on that. So if I did cold outreach, say for Scoop, it costs so much to maintain it, to do that before, and it's a low cost.
Right.
If so, what I would so there's three types of email. The way I look at it, there's a cold email, which has to be done on certain servers at certain volume, and the emails have to be enriched. They have to be cleaned out, and your domains have to be good. And then
Mm.
you have to have multiple domains, and certain systems set it up automatically. You can get something called a mirror domain, and mirror domains will, and you have to warm them up and that sort of thing. And you can send out X amount of emails per domain. Will get you
Right.
so much volume. And then again, we do that for clients, but they have systems that are get even more, more volume. So the volume
So,
we get for clients are usually around 300 or 400 emails a day, not 20,000 a day. Of
gotcha.
course, you're a consultant. You have to, you know, you don't want to take on business that you can't execute on. So our time
100%.
is a bit limited. You want to do that. So I'm not a cold me email expert, but that was the way we do it sometimes. Warm email are people that you know, and then email blast. They're not just warm; those are opt-in. So the best conversion you're going to get for your money is opt-in. So those people said, yes, you can use my email. I'm part of your group, your event, your email list. I opt in. Once they're opt in, the conversion is much easier. And then out of 4,000 people, if I shoot out a series of 5 emails, I'm only looking for like two, maybe 2 or 3 clients, one client,
Mm.
whatever. That's not the
It's a
numbers
good,
aren't that
yeah,
bad. You
it's a
have
good
bad
conversion.
months, of course. July is the worst month you can do any
Hmm.
business. People say, "Why July? Everyone's out." I say, exactly. They
That's
don't
the
want to
issue.
give you no money. They want to spend money on drinks and the family and going out.
Vacation, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And they said, "Well, isn't December bad?" I said, "No, after the 15th it's bad." I said, so even that 300 list came from July. That's a
Mm.
low list. So I was able to convert even in July.
That's great.
So there are a lot of chances. And people say, well, LinkedIn outreach is dead. Well, if I'm able to convert 21% of my targeted list, of course, you have to have your ducks in a row. So when
Right.
I create systems for connecting with people, I use Sales Navigator, but I reduce the list because if you get a large list in Sales Navigator, it ends up being a little fuzzy. So you have to be very specific on the people that you're targeting for whatever. It's not all business. Sometimes it's for partnerships,
Hmm.
and sometimes it's for direct clients. It really depends on what you're doing.
Interesting.
Yeah, and
Great.
so having those systems work really well, and then using Scoop
Hmm.
to do the initial follow up for your welcome message or replying adds a bit of novelty. And then
Hmm.
so even if people don't respond to it, you have to know where the audience is. I'm running, got requested to run consulting on LinkedIn ads. So it's a
Mm.
whole different animal. So they have a CPA, cost per acquisition, of a high dollar amount compared to other social. Well, they probably just didn't set it up right. They probably didn't target right. It's not that hard to fix. They need to
Mm.
reduce their cost per acquisition down to a more manageable thing. And so I just asked them, "Did you do this?" Like, "Oh no, we never even thought about that." I said, "Oh, there's so much opportunity to save you guys money." And
Okay.
so LinkedIn by itself have so many channels of opportunity. You got to think, LinkedIn, there is over 1 billion people on it.
Mm.
And I think I just looked at the numbers, and there's 12.5% of those people on it daily. There's not a market like that on any other social platform.
That's
And if
huge.
you have a, say, $10,000 deal, and that's one of your revenue streams, and you're just a single guy or gal, I think you can live on that money pretty well, and as a secondary avenue of revenue,
For sure.
and
It's not
I
gonna
have
hurt.
several
Huh?
revenues. Scoop is one of them, and
Yeah.
the system building is another. So there's a huge amount of opportunities on LinkedIn.
Awesome. How is it then for you then, as a person who provides a lot of of that first tier of value too, right? The free contents, the live events, all that stuff. What would you say are the biggest challenges of actually moving people who are interested in that up to a second and even a third tier?
Well, speaking as an entrepreneur and kind of a more of a micro influencer, in this market, in the LinkedIn market, I would say that clarity is a big challenge for a lot of people. To be very clear, like for example, I talk about Scoop, you're not going to find it too much on my profile. I only talk about one thing. I talk about my plus multi-channel plus program. It's really the 90-day multi-channel plus program, and I call it the plus program. I only talk about systems and services. And so the biggest challenge is being very clear on your main service. Because if you have several services on it, you look like a flea market, and no one takes that seriously.
Yeah.
And you have to specialize in that one thing. Now, you can get business other ways, but how can I bring them in my ecosystem? And like, for example, Scoop, it's a natural component of the system. And so I tied them together. It's an extra value prop. There's extra, stuff in there to boost that, and there's a secondary revenue source as well. I think the other thing is I am very direct, so I'm not a good salesperson. Like I'll just tell you what works, what doesn't, and some people don't like that. You have to hold their hand, and so I have a sales partner that I bring with me. And so if you're good at creating stuff, you might want to partner with that salesperson that is a little softer, that can navigate, people's ideas and feelings, because I'm very quick in what I do, because that's how I make my money, which is opposite of what you need to do on sales. You need to slow down and engage. The other thing is what I've dealt with lately, maybe because it's a political year, is that a lot of people will say yes, and then they don't do it, right? And
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
saw that you
partially.
you created the post about that, right? On LinkedIn.
I probably did. I was complaining
Yeah.
probably, but I do have a series of posts called the Good My SaaS Journey, SaaS, my software as a service, My SaaS Journey, the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm on video 8, and I just tell them my adventures, good and bad. Like, oh, this happened great, this really sucked, and I'm very plain on that. But I think that you want to create an environment where it attracts the right people, so you can weed out the people that are gonna waste your time.
Not serious.
Yeah, and
How
everyone
can you do
needs
that
help.
though?
Well, there's a couple of things. If I'm closing a deal, if it's the Scoop stuff, I can do it on one call. Because yeah, here's a code, go get it, and then second meeting, I'll walk you through it. I'm always open, but that's a little hand-to-hand combat. It's very low. That's a super low friction. But if I want to sell a $12,000 deal, and it's a 90-day commitment, right? Well, it's 90-day commitment on my side, and we build out all the stuff. Typically, it's a two-call close. One call to verify if they really need it, or maybe I just can, I can suggest something better for them. My only job is to see, can I solve your pain? That's it. And if they agree, and we'll give them some information to absorb, and then we'll have a closing call. If I can close it on one call, then great, but that's a little more rare. I mean, just on the laws of averages. So usually the second call is a business call. A business call is I'm getting your credit card, basically. I mean, the lack of better words. At the end of the call, you wouldn't have taken that call unless you already decided you just need to know some details,
Right.
and so you present an offer prior, and you go through it, and you see if that whatever you're presenting solves that problem, lowers the pain, gets them from point A to point B. what I've done to reduce the tire kickers is have that two call and do certain things like on the call, I'll have the invoice ready. The biggest mistake I've ever done was send the invoice, do Stripe, and sometimes Stripe has a delay of an hour if you
Right.
do some kind of subscription, whatever it is, and that delay, they're not going to see it. So you don't know what happens after they leave because they got 10 things. You're one of 10 things that's happening.
Right.
And their wife could be cheating on them, or someone gonna have they could be sick, or not feeling well, or oh, I could use $10,000 on this new wheels on my car. You don't know what goes through the people's
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
for
as
sure.
soon as they say yes, you have to
There needs
have
to be
that
commitment.
invoice ready, and because that's the purpose of the call. And that was
That's the
my
purpose of
mistake.
them saying yes. Right.
Yeah, yeah. They no, there's a purpose from the getting on the call.
Mm,
The call is already a yes. They just have to
mm,
confirm and make sure the questions are answered, and there shouldn't be a delay. And so even so, oh, I need to get my card. I said, I'll wait. I'll wait right on the call and do that. So that's the number one thing you can do to close a deal. Now to reduce the meetings, in the past, I used to have a lot of meetings. So I only take meetings, business meetings, through my booking link through certain days and a certain number now. So I reduce the number of meetings, and it increases your value. The other thing is that I see on my if you see on my profile, I'll say I work with people that make this kind of money. I solve this problem for
You're kind
these
of
kind of people.
qualifying already.
Oh yeah, yeah. They look at it and they're like, "Oh, well, I don't have any money. I don't think I'm going to talk to." So the other thing you do is on the booking link, you do two questions that if they didn't have any money, that would piss them off. Question number one is, I ask for your budget. I don't care if it's a 20-minute meeting. I don't ever look at it, to be honest with you. I say, do you have a marketing budget? Oh, it's 1,000 to 10,000, whatever the budgets are. And the second question is, I promise I will not flake on the
Mm,
meeting. So you do a promissory thing they need to check. I have integrity. I put down, I have integrity and I will not flake on this meeting. I literally put that on that. And I had this lady just laugh at me like, this is so funny that you put it on. I said, I got to put it on there because I don't like people to drop their calls.
yeah.
And
And if
so
they still
those have
don't
reduced
show,
my, yeah, before
if
I
it,
was getting 50 meetings in a week,
Mhm.
50, and I got work to do. That's
Right.
just insane. I can't,
Yeah.
I'm a small I have a team of 35 developers, but they're partners, not employees. I have a
Yeah.
team of VAs. I have a team of video editors for my clients. I have writers and all this other stuff, but they're not really employees. And
Mm,
so I have to review, I have to approve, I have to create stuff myself. A lot of the videos I just create myself. And
mm.
so I'm not a huge operation as far as employees. And I need time to work. So I reduced that 50 meetings down to about 20. And that's what I can probably handle,
Good.
you know.
Maybe one last question before we wrap this all up, which, all of this has been very helpful. And I presume for people who want to learn more about, the power of LinkedIn, they now have a name to contact. How do you kind of see, AI and automations coming into play? What role does AI play in your fulfillment, in your client acquisition, actually?
I'll say this, AI is in every business that I know, including ours. And we include it in our products as well. And so there is definitely a place for AI for sales. However, we're almost there, not quite there. They have systems that have to be programmed in a way that makes sense. So what I would suggest is understand what your budget is, what clients you need to take on, and select the AI components very carefully. For example, certain things are okay, like if you're going to connect with someone and you want to increase the percentage chance of being connected, one trick that you could do, one tip, not a trick, one tip you can do is pre-engage. That means this person has posted something, like their stuff, engage with it. You can automate that stuff. And then 3 days later or 2 days later, send an invite. So you might want to engage once or twice, I'd say twice. And if you engage twice and they reply, they know you in their mind.
Right.
And whether it's automated or individual, and you drive that conversation. So say your conversion rate to having an accepted person, someone accepting you is, I don't know, say it's 30%, right? By using that method of engaging with two of his posts prior, and him replying back, you already have a pre-conversation going on. It moved that 30% all the way to 80%. Because they're going to say, oh, yeah, I know Troy. I just talked to Troy. Oh, yeah,
Right.
I had a great conversation. Of course I'm going to accept him. And so you've moved the relationship down the line even further. And then when you send the welcome video, it's even it's a lot of positive stuff. Think about it. So you have a domino of positive stuff. Oh, yeah, he's engaged in my post. He likes what I'm doing. He connected with me later on. Oh, I got this cool little video. Oh, now I'm checking out his profile. You are bringing them inside of your ecosystem and getting them to know, like, and trust you a lot faster than what automation is,
Yeah.
And AI
That's
has the ability to fill in some of those gaps.
I
Yeah,
see.
yeah. So
Ultimately, though, it's still about, slowly nurturing that relationship, right? And that's ultimately what Scoop helps with too.
yeah. Scoop shortens that time it would take.
Right.
When they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, well, no one's going to read 1,000 words. No one's, because a LinkedIn direct message is really a text. It's like if a text had a baby with an email. It's very short, concise. If you write a long thing on text, 90% of the people will not read it and they'll go on. I had some guy kept on sending me these long things. I said, hey, stop. I don't read novels. I told him I can't absorb. I can't know. Don't send me 50 million links.
Yeah.
Have 2 to 3 lines of text, unless you know them and they're asking for information, then you can break it down, But you want to create really short, one call to action. Because some people can take up a lot of information. Like, I'm used to absorbing a lot of information, but I'm a technical person. And even I don't like reading a lot. So can you imagine other people? So I can imagine stuff in my head. I'm very technical. I can put things apart. I'm not a usual person. The usual person and the decision makers are usually singular focused. They can only take in one bit of information at a time.
Right.
And if you present 5 pieces of information, they're not going to do anything with it, and they'll just move on, and you'll lose that opportunity.
Interesting. So ultimately, what we learn from this is, keep it as simple as possible, always with a human touch, and provide value, build relationships, and play the long-term game, man. Troy, this has been such an insightful look behind the curtains of, you doing truly meaningful work. I think the last question I have for you might be very self-explanatory, but where can people follow your journey or see more of your stories that you're bringing to life?
Oh, I'm all over LinkedIn. So
Who
just
would have
go
guessed?
to Troy Hipolito, and my last name is Hipolito. It's the one that looks like me, because I'm half Filipino. My brother has the same name, so he's full
Interesting.
Filipino. So you can tell the difference. And I'm the one that has like the larger, number. I'm the LinkedIn guy. So it says the not so boring LinkedIn guy. Just go ahead and follow me and hit the double bell when you follow. The other thing I like to give your audience is, just a discount on Scoop. So there's a code there, and maybe you can just give it on the podcast as far as the limits on it, and give it a try, and then book some time with me. As soon as you go to the Scoop page, there's a booking link right there, and we do group meetings, and we figure out what scenario works for what to make things happen. So always open to help.
Awesome. But only book it if you're seriously going to show up. That's also an outtake. Awesome.
Yes.
Very good. Troy, thank you very much for joining us. This would be everything from our end. The link to the discount will be in the description, guys. So yeah, Troy, thank you very much.